Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review end of weekend show. So we decided to do something a little bit different this week, obviously with Eddie Howe hopefully getting the squad back from injuries. We've decided to sort of ask, and yourselves as well, including the chat, just what is Eddie Howe's best 11, or what do we think Eddie Howe's best 11 is? Because that is the question that we all need to ask, because he's going to have that headache, hopefully, in a couple of weeks' time when he has everybody at his disposal. So who does he pick? But the usual things, guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, please do hit that like button. And if you are new to the channel, then why not subscribe for the best Newcastle coverage possible? Become a subscriber of the Toon Review, and also hit that notification bell, and it'll let you know when we go live or we record a video. So lots and lots of things on this channel. Plus, you'd be coming into a big family where everyone will welcome you with open arms and take part in the chat as well on the live shows. We'll go through a couple of comments. David Sharp says, do you think if Keegan had our current defence, we would have won the league?
Yes.
I'm under no illusions about that.
No, I don't think so. I think goalkeeper, definitely.
You don't think if Keegan had Botman and Share?
No, I think Albert and Peacock are as equally as good as Botman and Share, to be honest.
I'm not sure, Billy. I'm not sure about that one.
If you put Botman up against Albert, I'd say Albert's a better player. Maybe Botman's a better defender. And Peacock against Share, I think Peacock's a better defender.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Against Share, yeah, I do, yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. I'd certainly take Nick Pope ahead. I'd take Nick Pope ahead of Shaq Hislop or Pav. Absolutely. But not as defence, no.
Interesting. Good evening, Michael. Tom says his best 11 when everyone's fit would be Pope, Trippier, Share, Botman, Target, Shelvey, Joe Linton, Bruno, Isak, St. Maximin, Wilson. I feel shan for leaving Miggy out. Well, this is exactly why we're doing this show tonight, Thomas, because this is the kind of difficulties that Eddie Howe is going to have in the next few weeks regarding putting players in. I actually agree. I think that front three is what Eddie Howe will eventually go for. But if Miggy's playing the way he is, then that becomes a real headache, because how can you leave Miggy out when he's actually playing so bloody well? It becomes a very, very, very difficult thing to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. Night of Knee Gaben says, even after getting in more players, I'd still keep Miggy and Burn in the subs, but otherwise agree, Tom. Having the ability to bring Miggy on when other teams are tired and his work rate would kill off some teams. The thing is, though, Danielle, is Miggy going to be happy just being one of the subs?
Well, hopefully not, in the best possible way. We don't want players being happy on the bench. I don't think he will, but he'll fight. I think it'll give him the spur on, really, to fight for his position, which I think he would anyway. I don't think that's an issue with Miggy, and I think with Miggy we just need a bit more consistency, don't we? Over the season. But good on him. If I was him, I'd fight for my place, just like everybody else.
Well, listen, he's doing it at the minute. We can't complain about that. You know, he's doing everything that's been asked of him. Would you keep any other subs? Would you keep any others in the subs? Willock, interesting. Chesry, hi all. Remember to keep comments respectful. No all caps, duplicates, and enjoy the show. Absolutely. Tom and Night and Knee Gaiman seem to have got a huge conversation going on. Gary, good evening to you. Dominic, good evening. David, Pilot Keith, good evening. Hope you all had a great weekend. Well, how can we not? Newcastle United winning today. Manchester United getting an absolute pasting yet again. How can you not celebrate a great weekend?
Been the best, hasn't it, really?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, granted, I'm in a lot of pain sitting here tonight, I have to admit. You know, I think I've done a little bit too much with the house move. I've lifted things and maybe I shouldn't. And, you know, it's hard, though, because you think, oh, I'll do that. And then you remember afterwards, and, you know, when all the muscles start out, and you think, yeah, so sometimes I should just say no to doing stuff because I can't anymore, basically, due to the illness. But, you know, I hate not getting involved. Les, good evening. Gary says to me, on our best 11 at the moment, the difficult decision is what to do with Willock and Miggy. Do we leave them out to play Isak and Shelby? While it's nice to have these problems now, it's not easy. But the thing is, Billy, as we move down the line and Newcastle United grow and grow and grow, and we get these, these players through the door, the whole point of having this is to have a world-class squad. And this is what Eddie's going to face, isn't it? He's going to have to face this problem of who to put in, who to leave out, and rotation and things like that. Just like maybe Pep Guardiola does at the minute, because that's where we want to be.
Yeah, and Pep Guardiola very rarely gets disenchanted players, is he? It's not often that happens for Pep and Klopp to the same extent, really. So that's Eddie Howe's job, to keep them all happy and rotate as and when he sees fit regularly, but keeping the nucleus of the team just the same results-wise, especially, would be important with that. Because you don't want to be changing like the team command used to week in, week out, 6-7 changes. But that's one of the part of being a manager, I guess. In this modern age of football, you've got to be able to keep 25 players happy for only 11 spots.
Absolutely. Les says, if Miggy can play like this every week, he can't be left out. Well, that's basically what Miggy's doing. And, hats off to him. Happy Sunday, everyone. Chippers, thanks for your £6.10. It is, of course, my £6.10 anniversary today. A year to the day. Thank you to Adam Pearson for posting that tweet out today with me reacting to the £6.10 charge again. I'd forgotten all about it, to be honest. But it was nice to be reminded of the fact that, Billy sitting there could have invited me for a bit and Butty, and I wouldn't have got the £6.10 charge. Well, there you go. He says, also, Man United getting battered again is hilarious. It is indeed, Chippers, no doubt about that. Keith Dykes, thank you for your $10. Problem is, Paul, you're not hitting the bottle hard enough. When you're blasted drunk, you think you can do it all and don't feel a thing. Well, yeah, but I can't do that anymore.
You might the next day, though. Oh.
Indeed. Danielle knows all about that because it's coming up to the anniversary of her getting absolutely blotted and feeling very ill afterwards. Up the A1 says, evening, everyone. Missed last night's show, but I've watched it back. Great result. Great show, Billy. This is going to be a good one tonight. Raymond, evening all. What a position we are in now. This team is going to be scary. He's buzzing. Jacker says, evening team. Hope everyone's buzzing after yesterday's performance. How are the lads? Hope you managed to get moved okay, Paul. Well, I'm moved because, I'm in, but there's a lot of boxes. There's no carpets. I'm in Susan's broadcasting tonight, but the house next door has nothing at the minute until tomorrow. Gets the stairs and landing and the bedrooms done, but the flooring that's going downstairs takes a little bit longer to come from the supplier. So, hey-ho, it's just one of those things of moving house. I will never be doing it again. You will carry me out of this house in a box. Simple as that. Not moving anymore. Good evening, Martin. Hope you're well. Paul Sprague, good evening. Ken, hi guys. What a brilliant weekend. Both the lads and lasses winning, and the lasses going joint top of the league. Keep it going, both teams. Yes, fantastic result for the ladies team today. 1-0 win. And the carry on the good form, Danielle.
Yeah, I think it was a tough game for them because Norton are pretty much level pegging to where Newcastle were, but they stuck with it. When you play Charlotte started today, which is great.
She did.
Freya played well. It was a really, really good result. Well fought. They really had to fight for that. But I think we see it with the men's team as well. You don't always have to be, have a pretty game and play brilliantly, but it's the 3 points that counts.
They've got a lot of grit about them.
Well done to the ladies.
The ladies' development team winning 3-1 at Chorley. So absolutely fantastic for the women's side of Newcastle United and the men's side this weekend.
I think that's what they call a full house.
A full house, definitely. So absolutely well done. But we bring you more about that in our new ladies show, whatever it's going to be called, later on in the week. So we will be obviously focusing one show a week on the ladies team, which we promised we would do, and we will carry that out. Now, Let's have a look at some more of your commenters. Richie says, great result yesterday, but even better result for Man United today. I bet you're buzzing, Danielle, are you? Come on, be honest. Come on, just give us a snippet.
Man City were obviously the better team, right from the start, right to the very end, and I think Manchester's blue.
Is Haaland in your fantasy team, Danielle?
Of course he is, and he's my captain.
Oh, I think he's mine as well. I need to check. Julie J, good evening. SV88, good evening. Spike, good evening. Steve goes for Pope, Target, Share, Botman, Trippier, Bruno, Shelvey, Joelinton, St. Max, Isak, Wilson in a 4-3-1-2 formation. St. Max is a floating 10.
That's interesting.
It is. I'm not sure Eddie Howe would play that system, though.
No.
I think he's got his heart set on a 4-3-3. I mean, look, a lot of people are probably going to put a similar side out to that. I'd be very, very surprised if we saw a starting 11 different to that one. But I think it's the formation that's going to be interesting, is to, whether he goes with something like that or whether he still goes with his tried and trusted 4-3-3, Billy.
Yeah, I think he'll stick with that. I think all the signings have been bought with that system in mind. So unless we play in, I don't know, perhaps Man City away, he may go 3 at the back then. But I'd hope he didn't. I'd hope he'd go at them like he has done every other game this season. Because if he does kind of pay too much respect to your opponents, that's when you start losing games, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't seem to do that, though, does he, Danielle? He doesn't really pay much respect to the opposition.
No, I think Billy's absolutely right, because if you do that, then you're risking getting a battering. So I think we'll go out and we'll go to stake our claim and put our stamp on the game straight away, which is what we did against City, and what we did yesterday. So I think he'll stick with the 4-3-3.
The commentator during the match last night made me laugh, because at one stage when we were battering them, he says, "Oh, Eddie Howe will be on the sidelines and he'll be feeling really sorry for his opposite number." And I'm thinking, no, he freaking won't. Why would Eddie Howe be feeling sorry for what's his face? I can't remember his name now. Silva. Yeah. Why would Eddie Howe be feeling sorry for him? Eddie Howe's going to be delighted that we're winning the game 4-0, I think it was at the time. So why would Eddie Howe be thinking, I really do feel sorry for him, rather than thinking,
I don't think it would have even entered his mind.
Honestly, they say the most ridiculous things at the most ridiculous times. Pork pie, good evening. Pork pie. Evening, everyone. Still buzzing after yesterday. Oh, Jesus, Samson, I'd get over the fact that my arse wasn't on show. Majestic Pillow, good evening. Geordie Howe man says, best 11 is so difficult, but for me, Botman just oozes class. Future captain, and can see him lifting a trophy. We did say this on the review show last night, Danielle, that the amount of talent that Newcastle are bringing in youth-wise, they're not just building for the now, are they? They're building for the future, and Botman is going to be one of Eddie Howe's mainstays.
Absolutely.
Hopefully for the long term.
Absolutely. I think players like Botman, players like Bruno, that level above what we currently have in some positions. But yeah, I think the emphasis on the club isn't just the here and now, and it shouldn't just be the here and now, because what happens with FFP, what happens when we reach that limit and we can't do anything else? We need these players to come in, and however long that'll take, I don't know, but it's great to see that we're building from the bottom as well as what we have currently. So it's brilliant, really exciting.
Jackie's team is Nick Pope, Trippier, Share, Botman, Target, Willock, Bruno, Joelinton, Maxi, Isak, Wilson. Exactly.
Spot on.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bruno and Joelinton. It seems so hard, though, doesn't it? When you look at Miggy's performance in the last few games, he's done really well. But the fact is, Isak is very good, very quick, and can cut in and score goals. Miggy is doing that now, but you mentioned it before, Danielle. It's a question of consistency, and he's got to use this time that he's got now to prove that he can be consistent.
I think he will. I think it's just, some games you see Mickey and he just has a frustrating one where he just can't do anything with it, or it falls on his wrong foot and he spends a lot of time turning and trying to get the ball onto his left, and But then you get games like yesterday where it just everything falls into place and he just has an absolute belter for the whole game. So it has to become more consistent, and I'm sure it will. I'm sure he's working on it, and I'm sure he had a fantastic boost yesterday. He'll be buzzing tomorrow going into training.
Oh, without a doubt. Richie says, I always have this feeling that we will never have a full-strength squad. I hope I'm wrong, but there always seems to be something regarding injuries. And that's a good point, isn't it, Billy? Because, we've mentioned already a few times this season that we think there may be a hoodoo on Newcastle somewhere down the line. Do we call in the priests and things like that to get rid of it? But, I mean, it's the same for every club. It's very rare that all your squad is fit through the course of a season. But there will be a point, I'm sure, that Eddie Howe has to make those decisions.
I think that you've got to have depth in your squad, and until yesterday, we actually didn't think we had it, did we? Let's be honest. Yesterday was a kind of a turning point for some of the players that played yesterday, and they've got to kind of reproduce that more consistently, as Danielle's just said. But this side we're going to pick tonight, obviously, it's no injuries coming into play. Bear in mind that injuries do come into play, so players like Miggy will be playing more often than not. And that's why you've got to look at it, really.
And I think as well, what we do have to take into consideration is the in the future with the European games, etc., which we undoubtedly will be taking part in. The squad will have an opportunity to play games, won't they? They'll have cup games, domestic cup games, European games. So that's why I think at the moment, Guardiola gets away with it, with not upsetting any players, because he knows there's many, many games for them to rotate the squad.
It's like loads and loads. I mean, they've got all kinds of competitions that they're in, things that we haven't got in terms of European football. But in the future, fingers crossed, we'll have a similar outlook in terms of how many games we've got. So we'll have the ability then to rotate the squad and keep everybody happy. And I think that's the trick. You don't want to kind of put someone aside and lose somebody because they're not getting enough playing time. But it's all to come. The future's bright.
It is. Jan is going with Pope, Target, Share, Botman, Trippier, Bruno, Longstaff, Joe Linton, St. Max, Isak, and Wilson. So he's took Willock out and gone with Longstaff, Billy.
Or Shelby. Yeah, he's using Longstaff as a 6, and I'm kind of see that actually with the performance yesterday. But it's consistency, isn't it? Joe Shelby's been doing it for quite a while. Injuries aside, Longstaff's done it 2 out of 5 games, I guess. So if Longstaff can get that up to 4 out of 5 performances, you get that kind of performance like he had yesterday, then he could force himself in, definitely.
It's certainly interesting. I mean, Shelby for me plays as the 6 because he's just that quarterback. We've missed him. Well, we didn't miss him yesterday, obviously, but if we keep playing like that, then maybe it is going to be a bit more difficult for John Joe to get back in. Tangy says the main thing is we won. More importantly, no boos after the game from the fickle fans. Ashley 80 says we had Albert, Peacock, and Steve Howie.
Steve Howie, another quality centre half.
He was
underrated. Injuries stopped him from being a mainstay of that England side for the 90s, to be honest.
Yeah. Albert and Botman would be a good partnership, says Tom. Interesting. Howie was class, says Tom. Cesare agrees with Billy about the Kevin Keegan defenders. Albert was the best we've had, no question. Defensively wise, do you think, Danielle?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really put a lot of thought into it. I just thought, well, yeah, but of course, like back in the entertainers days, he was, and it's hard really to be comparable to what we've got now. But yeah, absolutely, he was a great defender. He was in my team, I think, when we did the all-time.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, Chris Evans says for me, it's Pope, Trippier, Share, Botman, Target, Bruno, Shelby, Joe Linton, Isak, Wilson, ASM, harsh on Willock and Miggy. I feel bad for leaving them both out, but look, that's where our squad gets a bit stronger because if we've got Miggy or a player of Miggy's capabilities and Joe Willock, those are the kind of players that we need on the bench to replace some quality with quality. And that's why I think Eddie Howe will be delighted with the way Miggy's playing. Again, I saw some hate on Willock yesterday, and I don't understand it. I just cannot understand it. For me, he's been one of our standout players for the last few games. I'm sure it's because of his body language on the pitch. I'm sure people just look at him and think he's just not frigging interested. But he is. He's just got that persona. I did.
He's very languid, like Chris Waddle used to be, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
The way he moves.
Will says the strength of this team lies more in how well they have been coached and less of how good the players are.
That's a good point, but they've got to have it in first to be able to be coached that way, I guess. But certainly you see the difference in between a side coached by the previous manager and the one now, that's for certain.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's night and day, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course, Bruno Lage being sacked at Wolves this afternoon. Is Mr. Bruce going to get another paycheck?
Surely not.
Well, it looks like, listen, they lost again yesterday. And I think people are starting to realise, though, what we as Newcastle fans had been bleating on about for the time that he was here, that he is a terrible manager. And, West Brom fans are seeing that now. And, of course, well, whether his mates in the punditry world do, I don't think so, but never mind.
He's got form for it, hasn't he? Skipping from one rival to another,
I mean, who will he take over next around the Midlands? I mean, there's a couple he hasn't managed yet, isn't it?
West Brom are Wolves' biggest rival, so
there you go.
Against him, but there's no way on God's earth Wolves will kind of put him in charge unless he changes his name to Brucinho.
Brucinho, yeah, I was going to say, or Steve Brusaldo or something like that, because he needs to be Portuguese, doesn't he? Lee says, honestly, don't feel Wilson and Isak will play together nor complement each other.
We'll have to see, won't we? We don't know if
I think that's the thing. That's what we want to see, is how well they'll blend. And listen, Eddie will see that in training before we see it on a match day. There is no doubt about that. He will... if it's in his mind to try that, then he will do it in training. There's no doubt about that. William says, Pope, Trippier, Cher, Botman, Byrne, Shelvey, Bruno, Joe Linton, Isak, Wilson, ASM. So he's got Byrne at left back. Oh, sorry, acting as 3 at the back. So he's gone for a different system. I'm not sure Eddie's a fan of 3 at the back, though. I genuinely don't think he's a fan of it. And I think when he's got his best players available, his 4-3-3 option is always going to take first precedent, Danielle.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I think it goes back to what we were saying before about how he likes to play. I think 3 leaves you vulnerable at times. And I just don't think that's a position that Eddie Howe wants us to be in. So I can't see it either. I think
William's got 3 at the back there and no left wing back, as far as I can see.
Yeah,
well, unless he's going to play Joe Linton as the wing back.
No. Hang on.
The thing he's got a 4. I don't get why he's got Trippier pushing up the right. So Trippier's going to be the wing back on the right, but he hasn't got a left. Yeah, you're right, Billy. So I don't know how that would work unless you're planning on putting Joe Linton as a wing back, which is just never going to work in a million years. Ab says, a good thing about getting a full squad fit is the idiots will stop slagging Eddie's team selections off and stop comparing him to Bruce. Though if we failed to win, they would slag him off after the game. And there's no doubt about that. But I think, look, from my point of view, I was a bit skeptical about that lineup yesterday. I know Danielle was, and I'm sure you were, Billy. It was very strange. But listen, I think after yesterday, we all have to just trust in what Eddie does with that team selection, because he sees things that we don't. And look, he's looked at Fulham and thought, right, these are the players that I think will beat Fulham, which enables me to keep Joe Linton out of the side. If he wasn't feeling 100%, then he didn't have to play him. The same with Matty Targett. If he was feeling a bit unwell, we know now that there was an illness, or there is an illness in the squad. But hopefully that will just disappear over the next few days. And but in Eddie's own mind as well, he will know that when these players come back in a fit, he's got great options now. It's not. He's not having to worry, Billy, about what he does with substitutions, because he can make them in the confidence of knowing that he's got the players fit, the good players to replace quality with quality.
100%, yeah. I mean, being able to have the luxury of being able to make 5. I mean, he did it yesterday, I know, but that's only because we were 4 up. But he hasn't made 5 substitutions all season, has he?
Yeah.
And with a little bit more
Pre-season was like the last time when he brought, when he brought the whole team on.
Yeah. So I think if we get players back fit, the likes of Longstaff can come on as a number 6, or if Miggy's not playing, if he's playing Wilson on the right, he can bring Mig on as an impact sub or Willock on as an impact sub. And it makes a difference, doesn't it? If you bring players of that ilk on after 70 minutes against a tiring team.
Absolutely.
You're in the box seat there, I think.
I mean, I genuinely think Billy brought those players on, Danielle. I don't know what you think, but I think he brought them on at the end just so there could be a part of a great win. There was no. It was late on. The game wasn't going to change. Yeah, we conceded 1 goal, but it was never going to be a comeback for Fulham. I just think he wanted everybody involved in the game yesterday. P. Keith says Miggy Van Basten. What a goal that was! I've watched that numerous times today. This morning before I started shifting again. But what a goal, man! Just incredible. And if you can keep, like you said, Danielle, the consistency going, then I think Miggy can grow as a player. I've got no. He's done so well this season. I just wish he'd have a right foot. That's the only thing.
Absolutely. I just love him. I think you can see how buzzing he is all the time. That's. I mean, I've only ever seen one period of time where that smile wasn't on his face, and we know what that was about.
Yeah.
But since the start of the season, end of last season, he's just been like floating away on that pitch. He just loves it. So I think that's part of the battle really there, that you've got to have players that are really wanting to play for the shirt, and he absolutely does.
Yeah,
he just needs to be a bit more consistent, a bit more, a few more performances like that. And then he's challenging for that position depending on what Eddie decides to do with players. I mean, you might be right in terms of not playing Isak in that position. He might not want to play him in that we don't know.
Yeah. Listen, he's got options now, which is the main thing. Mark says, sorry, Billy, you're wrong about Shah and Botman are 100 times better than Albert and Peacock. Keegan would have won the league with that pairing. Again, it's opinions, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just guessing that Mark didn't see Albert and Peacock and Howie in their pomp, because they were outstanding defenders, absolutely outstanding.
I mean, Howie was very similar to Fabian Schär in that he was very brave, wasn't he? He put his head in where it hurts and things like that. And you've got to take your hats off him. You are, Billy?
He was rapid as well. Howie was. He was the pace of the.
Yeah, he was quick.
Really quick. But
I used to do his catalogue parcels back in the day when I was first starting out into the world. Yes, and I had a little part-time job delivering catalogue parcels, and he was always very, very pleasant. Steve says, I would go with Tom's lineup, but imagine Miggy and Anderson coming on together. Yeah, Anderson is there as well. Ashley, he says, I definitely have Albert, Shearer, ASM, and Bruno. We wish.
If we could make it happen, we would.
Absolutely. KB, good evening from Belfast. Hope you're well, matey. Celebrating a win. Louise, good evening. Samsonite says a 3-4-3 with Burn, Botman, Schär, Joe Linton, Shelvey, Bruno, Trippier, then Maxi, Isak, Wilson.
Again,
I'm not sure about Joe Linton as a wing back. I kind of get away with that. I understand where you're coming from, Dave. But sorry, Samsonite, but I don't. And I've just seen, right. I've been calling him Samsonite Dave, and it's Dove.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, you learn something new every
I bet
single
it's been
show.
Called worse, to be fair.
I absolutely think that. But it's very interesting seeing people's difference of opinions and formations, isn't it? And see who they would have in. Geordie Howe Man says 5 subs mean we can have a class match day squad. So many options when they're all fit. Louise says get in there. Magpie in Essex says anyone left at Man United today? Many times. I mean, obviously, I was moving out, so I checked at half time and I thought it was 4-0. I thought, wow. And then tonight I've seen the pictures of the Man United fans flooding out the Etihad at half time. I mean, joy.
It was just a storm, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fantastic.
I think the best bit of it was the fact of the matter is that Man United fans have started getting a bit kind of arrogant and self-obsessed again.
We are back.
I think they're improving. Yeah.
In reality,
they're not.
Ten Hag is the baldy Bruce, says Andrew. Rachel, good evening. AG says Almiron deserves to stay in the team. Even Willock playing good too. Nice to see West Brom fans singing Bruce, you're getting sacked in the morning. They're near the bottom. Yeah, they were singing that actually. Keith says, in all honesty, it should be 4-4-2. Pope, Target, Botman, Share, Trippier, ASM, Joelinton, Bruno, Miggy with Isak and Wilson up top.
We've had this discussion before about playing two up front, though, haven't we? And I just don't think he's keen. Don't think Eddie's keen at all on the two up front.
Yeah, look, I think basically, this is what we said before, wasn't it? About, Eddie looking at Callum Wilson and Isak together. I'm sure he's going to look at them as a partnership or as a three.
I'd love to see it.
But this is the options. This is the options. By the way, Louise is a Sunderland fan. Come on, Sunderland. Listen, Louise, one thing you can't do on here is wind us up. We welcome fans from all clubs. We've had Sunderland fans on here many times in the past and welcomed them on and had really good conversations with them. So
everyone's
if you want to take part,
review.
you can take part by all means. Sean is saying Pope, Trippier, Share, Botman, Target, Joelinton, Bruno, Anderson, Isak, Maxi, Wilson. So he's got Anderson playing instead of a Shelby or a Longstaff, Willock. That's an interesting one, Billy.
Yeah, I think that would work. Actually, I think that could possibly work. I just think we're a bit left-sided, aren't we, with that kind of lineup? Because Anderson likes to play on the left, Joelinton likes to play on the left, leaves us a bit light on the right, where we have no right winger either, really. So yeah, kind of
but
imbalanced.
Anderson's right-footed, isn't he? So maybe Eddie could
float
nurture him
around
in that position.
Yeah,
he could float around. Absolutely.
I just think that front three is so dynamic. Maxi, Isak, Wilson. Wow. Because all three of them can swap positions throughout the game.
Yeah.
One wouldn't have to stay in the middle. One wouldn't have to stay on the right or left. They could swap over so many times and give us so many different options in that team. It would be incredible.
I really hope Maxi's back for Brentford.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm very surprised he wasn't involved yesterday, given all the dancing on TikTok. Do you think Eddie Howe's had a word with him?
I don't know. Don't ask me about this topic. But no, maybe he's like got the illness as well. Maybe he's been poorly as well.
Yeah.
We don't know, do we?
Interesting. Adam says, evening all. How is everyone's fantasy Premier League going? Pretty sure I saw Danielle up in the top 20. Yes, she is, and she's never
I've had a poor week.
Deal of it.
You were 14th yesterday, but I think you'll be a lot higher than that now with
Nah, I'm 16th, I think.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, Meat Row. Obviously, I should have took him out. I didn't take him out.
At least you're still in two figures, Danielle.
I know, but yeah.
I mean, there's me and Billy. I'll tell you what now, if there was four figures, me and Billy wouldn't be in it. But, we're just having a torrid time.
Ivan Toney was a mistake. But I'll have to see what I'm going to do for next weekend. I'll have to wait and see.
Indeed. Ashley says our current squad are looking good when everyone is fit, and then we'll probably get another 3 at least in January. Yeah, every single window we will build. I don't know if we'll get 3.
I think we'll get Madison January. I think he's ours in January.
Do you think we'll double swoop? Do you think we'll take Tielemans as well?
Possibly.
That'd be sensational, wouldn't it? That would be a
class.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, their time is running out, as for contract wise. So it puts Leicester in a situation, we could go to them and say, right, we'll take both of them off your hands and don't offer them sort of a petty sum of money. Obviously, offer them a decent amount of money that they probably couldn't turn down with their contracts running out. So for me, it's definitely going to happen. I think Madison probably 99% certain, but to get Tielemans as well would just be incredible. And the vibe and the bounce would be, we'd be jiving, man. We'd be jiving. Mickey Marsden, hi Paul, Daniel, and Billy. Hope you're all right. Well, I'm all right. You left this house literally 50 minutes ago, mate. So thank you again for your incredible help over the weekend. Me and Susan could not be prouder to have you as a friend. It was just incredible the amount of work that Michael put in helping us get shifted. So thank you again. Spacebar says it's fantastic to finally have this kind of headache. I mean, when was the last time that we had a manager who would have this sort of headache?
Oh my God.
Sir Bobby, I'm guessing.
Sir
Bobby, I'm thinking, yeah.
It's a long time ago. It's a very long time ago that a Newcastle United manager could have a headache picking a side. It just incredible. Agree with that starting 11. Howe will need to be bringing 5 subs on anyway.
Exactly.
Jose says, hello, everyone. Hope you all had a good weekend. Please don't forget Brighton taking a point from Anfield. Haha. Great weekend for sure. Absolutely. Listen, they should have done better. They were 2-0 up at one stage. But listen, Anfield's not an easy place to go to. To come away with a point is fantastic.
As we found out.
Yes, indeed. To come away with a point is fantastic. I'm not taking anything away from Brighton. Don't get me wrong. I just love it if they're beating them, just to see Klopp's teeth fall out again.
The implosion of Klopp.
Yes, indeed. Mary, good evening. Hope you're well. Steve says, people have been getting disgruntled with Botman out and Burn in. Yeah, me included. Listen, I don't think Botman deserved to be dropped in the first place. And I think he just proved the point again yesterday with the fantastic performance, just so accomplished on the ball. And the fact that he's 2-footed as well, Danielle, is just makes it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I said earlier, he's levels above, I think. And we're so lucky to have him. I know, other people said that he was going to go to AC Milan and all the rest of it, but what a signing. I know, even John. What a signing he's been for us. He's just class. Utter class on the ball. He's just brilliant.
Definitely. Lauren, good evening. Elliot says subs would be Willock, Miggy, Anderson, Burner, all great to have on the bench. Maybe Fraser as well, but behind the rest. Well, he came on and did all right yesterday, I thought. So, hopefully that little bout with Scotland and got his confidence going again. Ashley says Murphy did okay, but can't see him in the long term. No, I agree 100% with that. Listen, credit where it's due. He did okay yesterday. And there was once I think he could have done better when he shot wide instead of laying it off. I think there was Longstaff and somebody else coming in on the right-hand side.
5-on-3 we were.
5-on-3, and he should have just played one of them in, who would have been onside.
It's just his decision-making, isn't it? He's not really kind of there.
And it was a poor shot, which is strange for Murphy because that's, Murphy can let a shot go when he gets it right. There's no doubt about that. Jason, good evening. Brian, evening. Julie says, I'm wondering how well Miggy would do if he played a more central role. Well, look, I don't think it's ever going to happen now because we've got players in that position, Billy. So the only reason he'd move Miggy possibly into the middle would be because he would have no choice to because of injuries. But I can't see him ever using him there.
I think you'd have to change the system to get him in the middle, wouldn't you? You'd have to play a 4-3-1-2 or 4-1, something like that. Get him in as a 10. We don't play with a 10, do we? So, I mean, you'd have to change the system, but I'm not sure he's got the defensive capabilities of playing in the middle of the park, if that makes sense. I think he's fine helping out Trippier as and when he needs him. It seems to be more the other way around, actually. Trippier helps out Miggy going forward, but yeah, I don't think he's set up to play that kind of role in the Premier League. I think it's a bit too physical for him.
Okay.
Yeah. Tom says Friday is canniversary. Well, Tom, I mean, Friday is canniversary, but the day before is also Billy Naked anniversary when he decided to celebrate topless. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, those two shows I will always remember. I'll
never forget as long as I live. Never forget the moment on the sofa when I got a message saying, can you do a show in an hour? And I was like, I'm there, like 100%. Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, it just fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. No doubt about it. And you know what it is? I think the fact that unfortunately, the legend that is Mr. Dave Harrison can't see what is happening. Well, he'll be looking down proud as punch, obviously, and he'll see where the club is going. But for me, it's going to be a very emotional time for when we win a trophy because my mind will instantly be taken to Dave. Because he's waited so long, bless him, to see Newcastle come back to the heights that he was used to seeing when he was younger. And for all the other supporters as well that have sadly passed on and won't get to see any more of it, as a physical being, whatever happens when you pass on, we'll all find out that eventually. But, I'd just be looking up thinking that one's for you kind of thing. And I think a lot of Newcastle fans feel like that the loved ones aren't here to see that anymore. And see the team we've got now, see the build that is happening very slowly, but it's happening, and the youngsters that we're bringing in. I mean, I can't remember a time actually, guys, when we've brought in so many youngsters and made a big fuss of it as well.
I think going back to Dave as well, though, I think we were very lucky to share that time with him. Like those last few months when the takeover had gone through, and he was telling us his story about when the takeover was announced, he was screaming in the living room, and like just funny stories, and he was made up, absolutely buzzing. So I'm grateful that he was here to see that, and that we were able to spend the time after 100%. With him. Like brilliant. But yeah, this is. I mean, who knew? Back in October when this all happened and we were all on cloud nine, that already, I know we're a year in, but the players, the money that was spent, the players that were brought in, even the youngsters that have come in, it's going to be so important. You've got to build that foundation and have that foundation solid there before you can build on it. And this is exactly what it is. I think Dan Ashworth has been a perfect and probably the most important signing so far.
Oh, the job they're doing behind the scenes. I mean, Darren Eales has kept himself quite quiet at the minute, hasn't he? But he's doing an awesome job. And for me, this is what I want to see. This is what they were brought in for, and for us as fans to see it. All this work going on behind the scenes, scouting youngsters like Ikaran Kuol, for instance, and the guys that we've brought in the summer for Murphy from, I think it was Kilmarnock, we got him from. We're out there and we're building such a big foundation as a club now, which we've never had. And some of our fans have never seen any success at Newcastle United, So, and for me, obviously, it was 90s. It was a long time ago, and this club has deserved so much more. But to have a manager now, like we said before, who is in a position where it's going to be a headache for him to pick a first 11 is exactly a sign of where we've come from. Now, we're getting asked, would you take Grealish if he was offered to us? Not in a million years. I think Grealish wouldn't fit the balance of this squad at all.
I don't think he's got the right personality. I don't think I don't say, and I'm not. I know people are going to come back and say, "What? You wouldn't take Jack Grealish? Like what a good player he is." But I think we need a certain kind of person, a certain kind of player at this club, and I just think Jack Grealish is not that person. Yeah, for me.
Agreed. Billy, to second that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's actually bought into the ethos of Man City, which is ridiculous, really, when you think about what they've built over the past 10 years. Although I thought he had a really good game today, I don't think he's actually built into that. I think he's one of these typical big fish in small ponds, and he can thrive on that. But when he's a smaller fish in a bigger pond, I think he goes missing most of the time.
I'm surprised, by the way, out of all the teams that these guys have, that our viewers have suggested, Chris Wood hasn't been in a single one of them. I mean, poor Roy Caviani over in the Middle East will be just absolutely foaming that he hasn't
seen. He'll be beside himself, won't he?
Oh, God.
Wait at the fan forum on Tuesday. He'll be fuming.
Absolutely be doing his nut. Julie says, I've moved 100 places up the Fantasy League thanks to Haaland and Foden.
Well done, Julie.
You. Well done, you. Listen, I've got no idea. Should I have a quick look? Should I have a quick look and see what's going on?
If you really have to.
Billy, I think it's a necessity, mate. I don't want to,
I think I'd risen 44 places yesterday. I was just 500th. But then I forgot I had no players playing today, so I must have gone down more than that. Must have done.
Well,
you got any playing tomorrow, Bill?
I might be a while because I forgot my bloody password.
No, don't think so.
Oh, I'm in. Right, here we go. Right, let's have a look at this. Well, I'm 396th, so I am still way out of it. I'm not, Darren Bloomer is currently leading the way on 573 points.
Wow, well done.
Burn Saint Minimum, who is Burn Astro Arena. I don't know. Eddie Ush is third. I'm trying to see any names that I actually recognize here. We've got a lot of entrants. Danielle, you're 17th.
Yes,
on 544 points, which is nearly 200 more than me. So I think you should be pretty proud of that. Down one place with Dipsy FC. Cy Hetherington. Cy, you're doing really well, buddy, on just underneath Danielle there on 542 points. So well done, mate. You having a blasting time. Where is your man gone, Danielle?
I don't know. Be honest. Couldn't tell you. I'll have a quick look.
What's his team name?
Netflix and something.
Oh, Net 6 and Chill.
That's it.
He's 50th. So there you go. That you're absolutely destroying him. So there you go. What you laughing at, Billy?
564th.
Wow.
Oh.
Tell me why again we used you as an expert on fantasy football, Billy.
Just because I'm used to a relegation battle. I don't know.
Absolutely, yes.
You still got Kane, Billy?
Yes.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Billy's surname is actually Bruce, not Trey. Les says that Miggy is a much better player when Bruno is playing. He still makes the same runs, but Bruno has the class to pick him out. Yeah, I remember you saying that yesterday as well, Les, and you are right. As long as Bruno's playing further up the field, I think that is the big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think Sean sat back a lot more than Bruno did yesterday.
He did. I think you're absolutely right. And I think in previous games when Bruno's played and he's been playing back at the back a little bit more, they've been all over him and they've been able to stop him. Whereas yesterday, because he was playing that little bit more forward, he was just all over again. I agree. It's what we love to see.
Yep. Steve says, success breeds success, go all United. Peter says, even though great result yesterday, apart from conceding that goal, which took the shine off for me. I don't think it took the shine off, Peter. I think winning 4-1 away from home in the Premier League, not a shine off for me. I think it was just because, you know, what we spoke about before, Eddie changing the defence completely to give players a run out for 10 minutes or whatever. It upset the balance of the team. You could see that straight away. And of course, Bruno wasn't on by then either. I'm not fussed about conceding the one goal. Nah. It's a +3 for our goal difference, which, you know, we haven't had many chances to say that over the years either. Straffy says, just to think we drew 3-3 with Man City, and then you see them hammer Man United today. That's how far we've come. How are the lads?
Well
Indeed.
said, Straffy. Great
Malcolm
point.
says, did you see Man United supporters flooding out the ground at halftime? It was like a dam collapsing, Malcolm. It was a dam collapsing and the water just firing through, drowning everybody. There was thousands leaving the ground. And, well, I must say I had a little chuckle to myself when I watched it tonight before I came on here. It's always hilarious when Man United get thumped.
You know what it reminded us of? You know, like when you see on the news on Black Friday, you know, when the stores open and all the people pile in, it was just the opposite. Like they were just piling out, like they couldn't get out fast enough. Yeah.
Banging against the doors to get out. Let me out. Malk said Eddie played a masterclass yesterday and still Maxi, Shelvey and Isak to come back. Spike's team would be Pope, Byrne, Botman, Shea, Trippier, Joe Linton, Bruno, Miggy, ASM, Wilson, Isak. So he's keeping Miggy in.
How's he playing him there? Like a midfield player, but look at it, yeah.
Well, I wonder if he's playing J7 as a left centre, Bruno as a right centre, and Miggy through the middle to push on and maybe help ASM and Wilson. But although it could be the other way around, it could be Bruno in the middle and Miggy sort of Bruno right centre midfield helping out.
I'm not seeing a lot of Matty Target.
No.
Discuss. So I mean,
no Target in that one, that's for certain.
I was saying Byrne's better at left back than Matty Target. Interesting to think about, isn't it?
It is. Listen, and this is again a headache that Eddie has, which is exactly why we're doing this show tonight. It's a headache that Eddie's got. You know, I know that there is no doubt in my mind that Eddie is a massive fan of Dan Byrne. And listen, Dan Byrne did remarkably well when he came in last season and saved us along with Fabian Schär many, many times, as did Matty Target. Matty Target came in on loan and did a wonderful job. But I think the way Eddie sees it at the minute is he's got to try and get Dan Byrne in that side somewhere. And left back seems to be that choice that he went with. Yeah, obviously yesterday. Very interesting to see what he does at at home to Brentford next week.
Exactly. It's exciting to see, isn't it? Because you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, definitely. Tom says, as the women's show is on a Wednesday, how about Women's Wednesday? Tom, that sounds like a well, it doesn't sound totally right, if you know what I mean. I mean, Billy, you'll know what I mean, but it sounds like somebody knocking on the door ready to do some plumbing.
It sounds like those magazines your gran used to read years ago.
Yeah. Women's Weekly.
Yeah.
Woman's Own. Oh my God,
yeah.
how am I remembering all those? Bloody hell. Never mind. Geordie Howeman says, now when players say he's had an Alma run, it means he's had a worldie.
Yes.
Damn right. Mary, a lot of Premier sides were having goal fests. Nice to see. Jan says, eventually we go 3-4-3. Interesting. Dave says, best thing about the Man U result was Grealish didn't score. Again, he didn't. He did have a decent game, though, to be fair to him.
He did play okay, yeah.
Nowhere near as good as Miggy. Nowhere near.
Not the same league.
And I have to say, whoever did that photo of when Miggy and Bruno, and then it made it look like they were on a FaceTime call to Jack Grealish. That was hilarious. Absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. Class.
Brandon's going with Pope, Trippier, Botman, Cher, Target, Bruno, Joelinton, Shelvey, Maxi, Isak, Wilson. If I was to pick a best 11, that is it there. That is probably the one I'd go with. But again, you've got that discussion that we just had before about, Target or Dan Burn. But isn't it a good option to have?
Fantastic option to have for me. I think whether Dan came in yesterday because Target was feeling the effects of being unwell, or whether that was a deliberate move from Eddie to say, actually, you'll play left back because I value you in that position. So next few games, I mean, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see the competition heating up? It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
It's only going to benefit the team, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Magpie in Essex, is anyone shocked about Wolves manager getting sacked? Thought it would be the Leicester one. Well, Brendan Rodgers is certainly walking on a tightrope at the minute.
If Forest turn them over tomorrow, I mean, I think
he'll be out tomorrow if they lose.
Yeah.
But Bruno Lage, things haven't really been right at Fulham at Wolves for a while. Sorry, they're not quite playing the entertaining football that I think the fans want to see. I'm very interested to see who they bring as a new manager. Will he be Portuguese or will he be English? Just the way they've gone in the past. Look, there's no doubt in my mind Wolves have some very, very talented players there, and he's not getting a tune out of them for some reason. So a change probably for the better for Wolves. But look, Bruno Lage, I must admit, I'd never heard of him when he first came to Wolves. I'd never heard of the man. But it'll be interesting to see which direction they take next. Man United, the wee club in Manchester, Fergie.
Did you see how fuming Fergie looked? Oh God, there'd be things flying in the dressing room.
That nose was redder than normal, wasn't it? He'd be on the red wine tonight. He'd be lashing it back. Spike, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. He says, just to celebrate the NUFC win and the Man United loss. Indeed. Ashley says, I'm really pleased for Miggy. Such a happy little guy, great player, and the right personality. What I loved about Miggy yesterday, and we mentioned this last night, guys, was the fact that, when he scored that hat-trick goal and then he realised that it was disallowed, he just smiled.
I know.
He didn't kick off. He didn't do anything. Like you see some of the players, berating the linesman. Or I think he obviously knew. But, he just, that beam and smile was just amazing.
He's just, he's just a gentle soul, isn't he? That's what he reminds me. He's just a happy little gentle soul living his own little world. Bless him. I love it. I want to be part of Miggy's world. Like, I want to live in that world where it must be such a lovely place to be. I
mean, that goal he curled in, Billy, for the hat-trick goal was superb.
Fantastic finish. But I think he knew himself that he was offside, and he probably knew himself that he shouldn't have been offside because he was looking along the whole of the line. And he would have still scored had he made his run a split second later. But yeah, it must be hard to drop him. If we were managers and you had to thinking about dropping Miggy, then put our eyes, and I don't know. I just think he'd probably maybe cried. Wouldn't it? Wipe that smile off his face. It'd be an awful thing to do. I think that's all about it.
Billy sent you a message there. Sorry, Keith sent you a message there, Billy.
There's a reason. There's a reason why I'm 98 stone. It's having the munchies from the vape.
Try it for Friday.
Oh God. Lee says, will NUFC sign both Maddison and Tielemans? Well, we had that conversation earlier. I think it would be a fantastic double signing. It would certainly give me the fizz, put it that way. So
I mean, did somebody say that Maddison was interested, maybe?
Ian Wright said Maddison wanted to join us. He'd had a conversation with Maddison
for years.
Yeah, for a while now. So hopefully, fingers crossed,
guys.
I mean, listen. You'll always get the the do-gooders saying, oh, yeah, but he dives, he falls to the floor. But if he's winning them for Newcastle United, you don't complain. I'm sorry. People, there might be some PC people out there saying, oh, I hate to see it. Fair enough. But if he wins us a penalty to win, Champions League place or something like that, you're not going to complain, are you?
Nah, why not?
And he's a character as well.
Sorry, Billy?
I was going to say, when he came on the sub last year and he was getting booed by the crowd, he took it all in good spirits, joined in with it, and made himself the mock villain. I think he's a good character to
He was doing it when he was warming up. He was having a bit banter with the fans. So, and he didn't look angry or anything. He was just laughing and smiling. So he's definitely got a soft spot for the Toon, I think, and he's itching to come. Dan says, I feel Shelby has to be in there, but if Willock plays like that more often, Eddie will have a few headaches. Well, Dan, that is the whole point, mate. We want him to have headaches. It's been a long time since we've had a manager who's had them headaches. SV says, Pope, Trips, Fab, Sven, Burn again. Shelby, Bruno, J7, ASM, Isak, Wilson, 4-3-1-2. Let ASM drift. See, I think he does that with a 4-3-3 anyway, doesn't he? I think he's given Maxi.
Sometimes he just gets a free rein, doesn't he?
Around. Yeah. Interesting. Dude says, press that like button, please. Indeed. Guys, we're nearly an hour into the show. It's been a very, very good conversation so far. A little bit to go. But if you are enjoying the show, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help us move up those search results on YouTube as the greatest Newcastle channel. But we love them all. We love all the other Newcastle channels. Everybody does their very best, and it's great to see so many positivity out there between us now. And also, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, please do hit that subscribe button. The best Newcastle United coverage right here on the Toon Review, including live commentary of every single game. So do become a member of this huge family. Take part in the chat with all the other members who are just subscribers, who are just incredible people. Every single one of them. Be part of it. And also the notification bell, which will let you know when we upload or we go live. Become a member if you do so wish, because Monday or Tuesday night, we are giving away another shirt. It is the blue away top, size 2XL. But
beautiful, that mind. I love that shirt. It's on my Santa list.
It is gorgeous. So to do that, to be in with a chance of winning, you need to become a member. So hit the join button just underneath the video. And of course, if you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, you can by hitting that $sign. There's so many great people have over the weekend already done so. Please hit that button. It'll take you through to a payment method done that way. So thank you very much. And of course, if you want to buy some merch, this is your place to get it.
So let's get down to business. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I'm gonna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it. Let's get down to business.
Yes, there you go. The toonreview.co.uk is your place to go for merch. We will have merch, more merch coming out soon, hoodies, etc. Once we've settled into that big house move and everything like that. And me and Susan will rack our brains and get that into motion. Well, Susan will, because she's better at it than me. So there you go. Ashley says, if they get Maddison and Tielemans, the squad would definitely be stronger. Russell says,
can I just add, we need to also stress that we're not in the know.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we can't stress that enough.
Yeah, listen, the bottom line is, in the words of Kevin Keegan, I'd love it if we signed Tielemans and Maddison in one swoop. You know, come down like a big eagle, seeing that mouse running through the fields, and in fact, a rabbit. It would be a damn hare if it was both of them grabbing the hare with the claws and swinging it off into the mountains to feed the baby eagles. You know, just get in there,
baby eagles.
But we're not in the know. No. But it would just be fantastic. Russell's going with Pope, Burn, Botman, Share again. No, this is interesting.
It's just interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Trippier, Willock, Bruno, Joe Linton, Miggy, Isak, and Maxi. Interesting.
Fair.
So he hasn't put Wilson in.
No.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure about that one, Russell. Listen, I'm all for opinions, mate, but Callum Wilson is probably the deadliest striker that we have, and probably one of the most deadliest in the Premier League when fit. But listen, I can understand if you think his fitness could be a problem, then there you go. Les, thank you very much for your £6.10 super chat. He says it's got to be done on your anniversary, Paul. Thanks very much, Les.
On your anniversary.
I know. Well, it is. This time.
They'll be bringing out a greeting card next, Paul.
Well, you know what it is, Danielle? This time last year, I was probably getting my speeding ticket as well. Round about 9:05 coming through the roadworks on the A19.
We were all on Jason's channel and Dave was saying, if you just went this way and this way and this way, you could have avoided the whole thing.
Yeah, indeed. But Billy's still a twat for that day. Listen, I don't understand because I actually paid my speeding fine and then they refunded it. So make of that what you will. But I did kick off saying that I did have my cruise control on at the time. So if my car's saying 50, how do I know I'm doing whatever it was, 54, I think I got pulled for? Which is ridiculous. But never
At least
mind.
you got your money back, though. That's good.
I did. Ken says, hi, people, all trying to work out the best 11 of the players we have. One more to think of in a few weeks' time. We may have Madison. Who do you leave out from the best 11 and fit him in?
Flipping heck.
Christ. Ken, we're not looking that far forward, mate, because that might be a whole different show again. Come January or February, we'll be thinking, right, where does he fit? Madison, Tielemans, Mbappe, where does he fit in? Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. If we get to Europe this season, it might be too soon. I don't think we have a squad for Europe yet. The year after maybe would be better. The thing is, mate, if we do get into Europe, they'll spend money to accommodate that. Let's not forget that we have owners now who will spend to accommodate wherever we are, which is why if we get to Europe, they'll spend money to make sure we try and give it a good go as well. But a process, of course. Cesare is going with Pope, Trippier, Botman, Cher.
Target.
Targets in there this time. Bruno, Joelinton, Willock, Maxi, Wilson, and Isak, with Byrne, Anderson, and Almiron having to drop to the bench.
It's a fantastic discussion, I've got to say.
I love it. I think it's great just listening to everybody's opinions and seeing everybody's different teams. I think it's brilliant debate. Love it.
I don't think there's any doubt that 95% of these teams that we're seeing coming in from the viewers want to see Isak, Wilson, and Maxi up front. I think that's what I'm seeing so far. Ashley says the only two questions are Byrne or Botman and who fills for Willock, or do we use him? Well, again, Eddie have that option. Ab says Bruno was the 6 yesterday.
No, not really, because after 8 minutes, I had 10 men, so we didn't really play with the 6, did we?
No, exactly. I mean, the 3 of them were attacking most of the game. Let's be honest. We didn't need a 6. Foxy says best 11 always depends on performances. So same 11 as yesterday is the team I want playing next game. As for Miggy, he's simply undroppable so far this season for me.
Well said, Foxy.
He's definitely been a standout player, Foxy. There is no doubt about that, and I'm pleased.
It wasn't for him.
Yep.
We get frustrated with him. We get frustrated with him when teams come for draws and James's and shut up shop.
As I said, the only thing is just wish he'd had a right foot, Billy. That's the thing. Make it could give him a totally new dimension to his game if he could get his right foot going. Les is going with Pope, Target, Botman, Cher, Trippier, Shelvey, Bruno, Joelinton, Maxi, Isak, Wilson. Jan says Albert is on the back of my shirt. I've seen a few Albert shirts still kicking about, actually. So he's still got a massive fan base. Retro Andy says we have a really good team and I can't pick my best 11 without leaving a player out that I really like. So if we're thinking like that, Andy, how the hell does Eddie Howe feel? Because he's the man that eventually has to make these decisions, Danielle. It's not easy.
I know. I mean, obviously that's why he's paid the big bucks and why, he spends so much time getting to know all of his players and where their strengths and weaknesses are, because ultimately when this period of injury is over and we get everybody back, then that's it. He has to make those decisions, and unlike other managers, i.e. Gareth Southgate, he goes off form and goes off who's playing better in training, not just who he usually plays. I think it's going to be interesting for him, I think. But wouldn't it be lovely to have a whole squad though, no injuries? It'd be lush, wouldn't it?
God, you're dreaming again there. Roy Caviani is in the house. look at that profile pic. I mean, how many years does he want to go back?
Bless him.
Who you kidding, Caviani? I mean, that looks like prime 1994. That does. Jesus wept. Anyway, he says, I read everyone. Burn on the left is growing on me. I feel bad for Target. Also, when Isak is back, then that's Miggy or Willock on the bench. Yeah, I don't think he leaves Isak out. I'd be staggered. But then again, does he keep him on the bench to get him fit?
Yeah, every chance. You don't know.
When he's fit, though, will he come straight back in? Or will he? That's the thing. That's it.
You can't drop Miggy. The only position that's available at the minute is left of that front three when Maxi's not there. But when Maxi's there, I think it's a given that is the front three. I really would be staggered if he doesn't use that front three. Because that is a frightening front three to any team in the Premier League.
Absolutely, of course it is.
Up the A1 says 4-4-2-4-2-4. Pope, Trippier, Botman, share target. Maxi, Bruno, J7, Miggy, Isak, Wilson. Miggy and Maxi wingers or wide midfield.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wonder when John Joe will be back.
Well, he's running now, isn't he? So Eddie confirmed that last week. So
I'm really looking forward to seeing him back. I mean, I know obviously he'll have to fight for his place in training like everybody else will, but I'm really looking forward to seeing John Joe pull the shirt.
Apparently, he's been on the training field for quite a while now. So
that's good.
But it is a very nasty injury he's coming back from.
Absolutely.
Steve says, could you do a past and present 11 show debate, please? You know what I think we should do is have a debate on, like you've already said tonight, Billy, maybe we go against Keegan's best 11 versus Eddie's best 11 so far. We could do that. And then, Eddie's best 11 is probably going to get better as the months go by. But for now, we could maybe look at doing that. Ashley says, Willock can look awkward. That's all that puts me off him. But he's got that awkward skill on the ball, though, hasn't he, Billy?
That's his demeanour, isn't it? I think the way he kind of runs around, he looks languid. He looks, sometimes he's not interested, but he's always looking for a space to run into. And he's got that little trick as well, hasn't he? He's a special player, Willock. And I think we should stop slagging him because he's been really good this season. Really has.
Yeah, I agree.
Just missing goals. That's all he's missing.
Little Joe, bless him.
Tom says lots of players tonight saying, lots of reports, tonight saying Bruce is on the way out. Player revolts as well.
Oh, that's his bank account getting filled up again then. With he'll not walk.
Well, Anthony thinks he'll be straight back in because he'll go to Wolves.
Flipping
so he won't have to move house. Interesting. Evening all. Hopefully, like me, you were all still buzzing from yesterday's results. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, my friend. We are certainly buzzing. Larry says, I think Joe Linton, Shelvey, Bruno is our best midfield trio. Yeah, I
agree.
For me, it is that at the minute, but not for much longer because we know Shelvey's getting on. But it's at the minute that's what probably I would go for, Billy.
Yeah, I think that's what would be my choice when we come to the Neymar selection. Shelvey's a 6 and Joe Linton and Bruno in front of him. Definitely.
Did you just say Neymar?
Neymar, not Neymar.
Oh, Christ.
I'll get him as well if you want.
Do you know something we don't, Billy Bob?
Get him. Not in the know.
No,
definitely not in the know. No. Kieran says Pope, Trippier, Botman, Share, Target, Shelvey, Bruno, Joe Linton, ASM, Wilson, Isak. I do feel bad leaving out Miggy, Byrne and Willock, but it's good to have the squad competition.
Of course it is. The standards will, on the training pitch will be so high because everybody will be fighting for that position. So it's only going to benefit the club. I think the thing is with us is a fan base, so we get so emotionally involved with our team, don't we?
Yeah.
So then when it's like, I can't drop him though. I mean, I feel bad dropping him and stuff, but I think
but it's like we said before, Danielle. I mean, if we feel like that, how the hell does Eddie Howe feel? He sees his players day in day out.
Since we've been in this position, so we've had to rely on players like Miggy and Willock. To come through for it. So now that the squad's getting more depth and we're getting more talent coming through, then these are difficult decisions, aren't they? They have to be made.
Absolutely. Cesare says, Paul, you're right about the undeserved stick that Willock gets. He's been so consistent this season. He does a lot of thankless work off the ball. Just needs to add goals. Well, he's definitely due one. 100% he's definitely due one. Pedro says, good evening, everyone. Cannot wait till January to get at least 3 more players. Then we will be totally class. How long do you think Wilson has left, says Steve?
What questions are that? A good 50 years, I'd say.
Well, I think what he means is football and why he's at the top level, Billy. I don't think he's talking about his life, bless him. Listen, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think the injuries he gets, how many more injuries can he get before it does start affecting his pace? You know, because before he can't make those sprinting runs because every time he does, he would pull a muscle. I mean, you know, as much as we all hate Michael Owen now, it did happen to him. You know, his pace was electric, and you know he got so many of them muscle injuries. He lost 2 yards of pace by the time he finished. So I don't know. It's a difficult one because you know I'm no doctor. I don't know. All I would assume is that if he keeps getting injuries like that, it will start affecting him, man. It has to.
The thing is with Wilson is, and it's different to every other player I've ever seen, is when he gets injured and comes back, he's straight back in it again.
Yeah.
Other players have to acclimatise, build up match fitness, and kind of come on a sub for a few weeks to get themselves in. Wilson's always straight back in there, and he's always straight back in there scoring. He's a unique phenomenon in that sense. So I'm not sure these injuries. He's getting them all the time. He's got hamstrings that are like elastic bands; they just snap all the time. But
yeah,
we always hope that this time he can last a bit longer, don't we? And go through 6 to 7 months. Never seen him chat to the poor chap, but hopefully this time. How many times have we said it? Hopefully this time.
Well, Samsonite says Bruce is a shoe-in for England. Similar levels of competence.
Oh, what a disaster! Can you imagine?
Can you imagine the demotivation that the whole world would feel if he became England manager?
The whole world would be Bruced.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, you know, Luxembourg played really well today. You know, you can just see it now, can't you? San Marino scored some wonderful goals. Christ. Logan says surely Maxi is back next week. I would assume so, but again, you know, we don't know. I like coffee says my best NUFC 11. Paula's goalkeeper. Trippier, Billy, Botman, PD Proudlock in defence, Bruno, Joe Linton, Sinclair in midfield, Adam P, Alan Shearer, and Danielle in attack, and Alex as manager. What a lineup that is!
And Dipsy's mascot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Listen, Billy. I mean, you know, as much as you're looking like, you know, you would just have to play like him, I guess.
The thing is, me and Botman are both left-footed, so I don't think that'd work.
Oh, I think it would work.
As if that's the only reason.
It would.
I mean, listen, Botman will be amazed playing with Razor Ruddock. There is no doubt about that, Billy.
100%, yeah.
Yeah,
he would be. He'd be amazed seeing me get on the pitch.
Darren, who is leading our fantasy football league, he's going with a 4-3-3. Pope, Trippier, Share, Botman, Target, Shelvey, Bruno, Joe Linton, Maxi, Almiron, Wilson. No Isak.
Interesting.
That's my team, strangely enough.
Oh, is it, Billy?
And yeah, he's top of the fantasy league.
yeah. Billy, get back to bed. I think no Isak is an interesting one to me. Is that because maybe Isak hasn't yet, or is yet to prove himself at Newcastle, and Miggy is starting to prove himself? I don't know. That's an interesting team, Darren. But listen, I hang my hat, my son. You are top of the Fantasy Premier League. Who are we to even dare disagree with you? I'm certainly not. George T, thank you for your £5 super chat, buddy. His 11 would be Gillespie, Manquillo, Lascelles, Clark, Dummett, Matty, Hendrick, Richie, Murphy, Wood, Fraser. Is this why I'm not a manager? Absolutely, George. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, buddy. Adam says, reminded me more of the DeCanio bicycle kick, to be fair.
Yeah,
it had a bit of everything. That it had a bit of Van Basten, a bit of DeCanio in it, didn't it? It was.
It had a bit of the Shearer one against Villa as well, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah,
because that was the only other finesse body I've ever seen go in, and kind of.
I mean, Shearer just let that bounce off his instep, didn't he? And just controlled that. You know, Peter Schmeichel's face was hilarious as he just watched that just float over him. Kenzie says Miggy's technique for his goal was actually harder to do than Van Basten's.
Yeah, because he finessed it. Van Basten.
It came over his head, didn't it? incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And remember, he had the defender there trying to put him off. I mean, I don't quite understand what the Fulham defender was doing, because, I mean, Miggy did good to sort of shrug him off, but he's got to be stronger there, surely. Awful defender. But for me, Fulham weren't up for that yesterday. And I don't care whether there were 10 men or 11 or 20,000 men on the pitch. They were not up for that game in that first half.
No,
and
definitely not.
I guarantee you, Silva would have been absolutely going mental in that dressing room at half time.
1,000,000%. You could see he was absolutely livid on the sides. Never mind in the dressing room. Can you imagine?
Yeah. By the way, did anybody see Declan Donnelly shouted at him yesterday in his vlog video?
Yeah, and did you see him leading the Newcastle chant for the Manda?
With Amanda, I know. It was class. It was really good. But listen, it's good to know that he watches Newcastle videos, isn't it? I mean, he could be watching us tonight. You never know.
Never know.
But, no. Good evening, China. Kieran says that Miggy goal was superb. It's, in my opinion, the goal of the season so far.
Agree.
I think I read somewhere today that if Miggy wins that, it's 3 goal of the months for Newcastle United in a row. Spacebar says former striker too was Steve Howe, but Albert used to go walk about too often and forget his defensive duties. That was the one downside about Almiron, I think. And Albert. And I think Kevin Keegan used to say that time and time again, and still does to this day when he does his talkings, is that the one criticism he had about Albert was sometimes he just didn't even realize where he was on the pitch, and before he knew it, he was in the opposition 18-yard box instead of being in his own, which...
He says that, but I'm sure he encouraged it because that was the way we played.
Yeah, he was very attacking, was Kev, wasn't he?
Yeah. We'll score one more than you. Simple.
Absolutely. Geordie Howeman says, great to see the owners and Deck celebrating yesterday. United at last.
It was class when Mandy gave him a kiss and everyone started cheering.
Yeah.
Like, get in there, Deck.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Yeah. Andrew says, our friend Sinclair is so upset about the Man U result that he is wearing his Chelsea blue on the show now. Yeah, he'll be turning away from Man United. I mean, his Man United posse will just be, well, flat as fried eggs. There will be. Julie J, her team is Pope, Trips, Botman, Share, Target, Longstaff, J7, Bruno, ASM, Wilson, Isak. So she's got Longstaff in there. I'm not sure about. Listen, Shelvey for me is a cut above Longstaff still. He is.
Definitely, absolutely %. It's that passing ability he's got, isn't it? It's another form of setting assists up from a deep position. Botman can do it. Shelvey can do it. We've got all the attacking threat and further up the pitch as well. So an extra string to our bow, so to speak.
Indeed. Dan makes a good point here, actually. Eddie played 2 up front at Bournemouth in Wilson and King. I think he'd be open to it, depending on the situation. He did, of course, play Wilson and King for quite a long time as well.
We'll see, won't we? Going forward.
Mark says, I went on Goldbridge's Man United forum and they were going absolutely nuts. It was comical. I must admit, I did earlier tonight, just as I was having some food. I thought I'll just go and watch the United stand and just flick through to the latter parts of his watch along. Oh my goodness me. Oh God. Absolutely mental. Stu says, I was laughing my head off watching all the Man United glory seekers storming out the Etihad earlier. When they scored their last 2 consolation goals, you could hear a pin drop. Yeah, 6-1 down at one point, weren't they? So, Chipper says, did anyone see John Sinclair leaving with the Man United fans today? Honestly, dear me. Larry says, Pope, Target, Botman, Share, Trippier, Joe Linton, Shelvey, Bruno, Maxi, Wilson, Miggy. So again, there's no Isak in there from Larry. But if Isak plays the next 9 games, scores 12 goals, I think he'd be in there.
1,000,000%.
Absolutely. Norvik, evening, Paul, Danielle, and Billy. Can't stop laughing at Man United. He made even better by Roy Keane fuming.
Made even better by Roy Keane getting hit by the sprinklers. Brilliant.
Yes, absolutely brilliant. Those Manchester United fans should be ashamed.
It should be, absolutely. But it's not what they signed up for. That they only signed up for a team that's top of the league, winning trophies year in, year out. Now they're not. They moan and flounce whenever they can, really, don't they?
Indeed. Malcolm says, if you want to laugh, go and watch some of the Man United fan reaction videos on YouTube. It's hilarious. I can imagine. Erling Haaland hates Man United because of Roy Keane. Of course, what he did with his dad, because they had a run-in, I think is fair to say, back then. Jackie says past and present for a bit of fun. Given, Trippier, Albert, Botman, Beresford, Gillespie, Joelinton, Bruno, Ginola, Shearer, Wilson.
Class.
You're leaving some players out there, mind.
What a team that is.
No Beardsley, no Robert Lee.
I know. I mean, I'd probably have Beardsley in for Big Joe at the moment. Beardsley and Bruno, Gillespie, Ginola on the wings, Shearer and Wilson up front, man. Jesus Christ.
If only.
Wow. Yeah. We'll never see it, unfortunately. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You know, we've had our fair share of players over the years. Jason, good evening. Keith says, I think our best overall signing since the takeover has been Trippier. That will change with some of these youngsters, but Trippier has completely changed things. I think he's changed things in the dressing room as well when he first came in with his leadership, and I think that's why Eddie Howe hunted him down, to be honest, and wanted to sign him because he saw what an absolute fantastic opportunity it would be to have such a leader in the dressing room. So just brilliant. Alan says, sorry, guys, I'm not in with the love in with Miggy unless he is consistently scoring. I would replace him tomorrow, but the goal yesterday was terrific.
That's fair. You can tell your opinion.
Indeed. Novik says, one for Stato for the January window. Being told he is one for the future, currently at Southampton. His name is, what the hell?
Yeah, I watched him yesterday playing Southampton. Looked okay. I don't know, he's not very old.
Interesting. Darren says, if England came in for Howe, would he take the job? Nope. He's already said he wouldn't.
Well, he's not going to say he would, was he?
Well,
he's not going to say, as soon as the FA call me, I'm off. Like, you know,
to be fair, he said it's not. To be fair, he said it's not on his radar at the moment. I mean, he's got a long, future ahead in management, hasn't he? So I'm not worried at all.
Because Southgate hasn't been sacked yet. That's why he's not on his radar. But Billy,
so you think there's a sneaky little suspicion that he'll? I
Billy
mean, Billy, we
changed my
know
mind last
you
week.
do.
I just think he said when he said never say never. That if you say no to it, you are saying never. So no, I don't know. I think he might be tempted.
Interesting. Right, well, that concludes our show for tonight, guys. Well, it doesn't, because we're going to give you our 11s now, but I think it's pretty safe to say what ours are. But Billy, you go first with your 11.
Yeah, it's Pope in goal, Trippier, Botman and Cher at the centre backs, Target at left back, Bruno not as a 6, Shelby's a 6, Bruno and Joelinton as the 8s, Maxi on one side, Miggy on the other, and Wilson through the middle. And Isak goes on the bench because we're not certain that either him or Wilson can play on as a wide forward, are we? We'll try it, but whether they're good at it, we don't know. So I'm going with proof is in the pudding in the eating at the minute.
Interesting. Danielle?
I've gone with Isak just because I think he'd be great on the side, but I don't know, I might be proven wrong. It might never happen. He might never play on the wing, but I had to go with Isak.
I mean, it's unlikely we're going to spend £60 million on a player and put him on the bench, granted.
But you just don't know what's going to happen, do you? You just have no idea. So you can only go with what you've got now. So I agree with that.
Yeah. Tom's finishing off the show with a little funny joke. I think Armel Bella Kotchap's brother Tomato is better. Oh, God. Mine would be exactly the same as yours, Danielle. I have to say I'd have Isak in, but that's the beauty of this show. We've had a lot of opinions tonight about certain players in various positions, but
it's given a lot to think about, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It just shows you the headache that Eddie Howe is going to have. Fingers crossed that he has this headache when the time comes when everybody's fit and ready to go. But that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on your Sunday night and spending it with us. Thank you to all the super chatters. It's been fantastic. Your kindness blows us away every show. Mod Squad, thank you for your work behind the scenes. And Thank you to Danielle and Billy for joining me tonight. And thank you to you guys out there, because without you guys, we have no show. It's as simple as that. So thank you so much to everyone that's joined in tonight. It's been really, really interesting reading all your different team lineups and what you think the best 11 should be. Well, Eddie Howe will take note and have a look, but he's certainly going to have a headache in the future. That is a certainty with all these players and more players to come through the door as the transfer windows come and go. We're going to get a lot more players and a lot more headaches. But thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, guys, and we'll see you very soon. Good night.
Good night.
Away the lads and lasses.